Hi, my name is Sally Barnard, an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer. Welcome to Call Me Zena, a true story into the spiritual realms. Join me as I sit and discuss the journey of self-discovery, and with the help of my spirit guides, it's time to trust your intuition. Sit with me and call in live 888-994-4995 Studio A. And now onto the show. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I think we have do we have any technical difficulties? I think everything is okay. Okay, hi, welcome to my show. Okay, I have Steve as my guest, I have Wendy, I have Dawn, and I have Freddie, and I have Karina over there. Hi. All right, so I was actually just talking about how I really need that question to get going, and it's strange, it's just something that happens to me. Once I'm there, I'm in that space. But again, talking to my viewers, ask me a question. Call in,
888-994-4995.
I guess I am in that space. I couldn't remember the number. So please feel free to call me in with a question. If you've got my book and you're going through it, just if there's something that you want to know a little bit more about, I'm here to give you the answer. Okay, so on with the show. I see that Dawn has a nice amount of questions for me.
Sally, we were going to talk about soul family.
Right.
Could you explain what soul family actually is?
Yes, I think we've got some questions on that. And actually what it
It's
really
a good question
is
to start with.
Yeah, a soul question is somebody that we actually have picked, but we're not aware that we picked that person. And to say a family, our immediate family, is we're aware of our immediate family. So a soul family is more on a spiritual realm, but we pick what we're going to do here on earth, so we also know the people that we're going to meet. And when we meet, I think, a member of our soul family here, we kind of know right away that we've known them somewhere before and that we've traveled with them through many, many journeys. So that's basically what it's said. And you've heard it in front of you, people have said, I'm their soul sister, or I've known them. So that's what they're really referring to. It's kind of an unspoken thing. You don't say, let's become a soul friend. We are a soul friend. We don't say, let's become this or that. It just automatically happens.
So under the heading, there are no coincidences, you find your soul family because you were supposed to.
Yes, that's exactly right. Through life, I mean, I can say even as children, we have, even another child, it could be part of our soul family, because we don't all incarnate at the same time, but we do come down together in a incarnation. It depends. We can have a very large soul family. Only part of that may come down here with us, but they're always with us. So if you want a question or you want something to be known, that you're not quite sure it's going to happen or something in the future, call upon not only our guides, our soul family too. Here and there, actually.
So can soul family be considered people you grew up with as a child and have never lost contact with?
Possibly, yes. I mean, only we kind of know the answer, so you could feel very close to someone even if you haven't seen them in years. And that may be a member of your soul family. We kind of interpret that ourselves, actually. It's hard for someone else to say, look at that person, I believe that that's your soul family. That just doesn't happen. But the person looking at the person that has that soul family as a family member also can be part of our soul family.
So I know you have added a number of people to your soul family. How do these meetings happen? How do you
it's
find
the same
these?
as anything, and you've seen that happen many, many times, Steve, since we've known one another. A situation will arise and you'll say, well, that was pretty incredible. We're not going into any particular one in detail, but we've had many, many situations like that. So you begin to, belief is the most important part of this whole conversation, because if you totally believe in something and that it's possible, it is there. It's absolutely there for everybody. We just don't know. We have signs, which we were talking about. They're there too. Our signs are all around us. But when you become aware of these things and you believe these things, you're going to see it more frequently, because it's not, I have actually said, don't go looking for it. I think it's spontaneous. It just happens. I'm going to mention something which you know this happens to me, about a parking space. Now, it's not a person, but I'll always, it doesn't matter where I am, the same thing, I will always get a parking space. Now, if I voice that to Steve or whomever, people know me for that. Oh, I hope we get a parking space, or looking for that, probably won't happen. So that's a very good example of being spontaneous.
Yes, we go to one restaurant where we get the same parking space every time we go there, right in front of the door.
Yeah.
That's
It doesn't matter if
awesome.
it's busy or not. It just happens. But I don't go thinking about it.
Right.
I just accept
I
it.
guarantee you, if I went there by myself, I would not get that space.
Okay.
I
All
hear
righty.
that. I hear that.
Okay, you ready for questions?
Yes.
All right,
to
so
look
you
this
talked
way.
about what a soul family is. Do we choose our physical family before we come in? And
Yes.
is that part of our soul family?
Well, it could be. I mean, you know, we hear, yes, it is part of our soul family. Our family, I believe, every member probably is of our blood family. I mean, you can husband and wife can have a family, you know, if they've had a family, it's part of their family. But they're there all the time, our soul family and regular families. Boy, this is getting really...
So we kind of choose our regular family.
Yes, we do before we come in, because we choose our parents, and I'm sure that we choose many other members that we're going to meet at a certain time. Now, family, we probably meet them all after our birth. We just don't know at that point, but we grow up with people that are our soul family too. So there's a mixture. There are people, and also we can add people to soul family even here in this incarnation, but I believe we've traveled with our soul family for many, many lifetimes. But we do meet new people that become our soul family or part of our own family.
So a very important member of our soul family is our dear friend Mindy, and it's a very interesting story how you came to know Mindy.
Right.
Could you tell how that happened?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And that's the lady that finds the hearts all the time. So, and Mindy, I know you're always watching. Hi, she might be watching a record of this later, but she's always watching. Yeah, I think maybe I did tell this story one time, but I went to have I'm very loyal to hairdressers. If I find someone, partly for myself, but also for the hairdresser, they're doing the right thing. And suddenly I was out, and I said to myself, my hair didn't even need doing, actually. I said, I need to go to the hairdressers. I don't know where the thought just came into my mind. So I'm driving around. I said, you know, I've got to go somewhere different today. I'm not going to the same place. So I actually went and saw a hairdressing shop. I was in my car, and I said, I don't feel like going in there. It's dirty. What a silly thing to say. A hairdressing shop is dirty. Okay, so I went driving. Suddenly, 20 minutes later, I'm in a shopping mall that I had never been in before, and I see a hairdressing shop. And I said, and this is the least of some of the things that have happened to me, but it's worth repeating, obviously. And it was very meaningful to me. Mindy, you know that. So I go in, I have no idea who's working there, and they gave me my friend Mindy, but I had never met her. So I'm sitting in her station, and she looks at me, and she said to me, you're an artist. And I said, yes, I am an artist. And then she said to me, there's 4 of us in here like us. I mean, come on, this is crazy. So yeah, it's very important, but I have had this through my life. And Mindy will say it will
Mindy
happen
says
to
you are her family.
Oh, thank you, Mindy, and telling our story. Yeah, there's a very good example, because now I'm saying she is my soul family, but I'm sure we'll incarnate many lifetimes after this, because obviously she she was my soul. Why would my car take me to a completely strange place to have my hair done? And the first words out of our head, other than I'm an artist, is there's 4 of us in here like us. Shouldn't know anything to me. I only just said hello.
That's amazing.
It's so interesting. So what lessons do you think we're meant to learn?
Well, that's also up to the individual, because we choose what we're meant to learn. Things that may have not, you know, there's karma, but karma is slightly different the way that I interpret it. But we choose everything that we do here, from birth till we pass to go to the next place. So it's all a lesson, Dawn. And, you know, we were talking about absolutely observing things. Well, my friend Aldo, who people know from my story, he always told me to to observe things, to look at it from a different, you know, from a perspective that you're not involved in something, especially if things are not going right for you that day. just try to be objective about it and observe what's going on in your life for that, moment.
So how do we recognize, like Steve said, Mindy's part of your soul family, and you and I have had conversations,
Well,
right?
obviously
And
my
Steve-
soul family is sitting here
Well,
with
how
me.
do we know?
Because how do we know that you knew that I was going to be painting something that I brought in that you'd already seen? That's another story with Dawn, who's my soul family. Absolutely. I feel that we've had lifetimes together, one in particular. And Wendy, you're sitting here and we've had a lot in common. So I don't believe that this is coincidence. I don't think there's such a thing as coincidence. It's only synchronicity.
I agree.
And you too. It's been a few years since I've seen you. But it's like, you were here yesterday. It's all part and parcel of the same thing. Freddie over there, I'm not sure. Yeah. Yeah, you're part of it. I'm sorry, Freddie, to break the news to you.
I
You're-
got a question.
Okay, good.
How important is having a soul family?
Well, it's helpful because
No,
our
no, no, I didn't say helpful. We're not looking for something helpful. How important?
it's very important because, and I don't want to use that word helpful again, but they help us because we can have things that, especially from the other side, let's say, when we're not here, we can actually arrange, we do arrange our lifetime. We arrange everything, who we're going to meet, where we're going to go, who we're going to talk to, problems, no problems. But we choose this with our soul family from the other side. And they can go as far as saying, I don't think you should do that when you're here. It's going to be very difficult. And when we get to that place, when we're here and we're doing something difficult, we chose to do that, but we call out to our soul family that may not be here. Help us. You did tell me, if you remember, this was going to be difficult. It's very difficult. That's how we learn.
But
Min-
is the soul family important in helping you find your way, see your signals? What about if they're misguided and they
No.
don't have a way to go?
No, then I'm talking, maybe here sometimes, yes, we've made an agreement. We've made an agreement with everyone, actually. It's kind of simple, really, but it's hard to comprehend that. So if it's something difficult here on Earth that we're going through, and we have our soul family incarnated here, they can get caught up with the situation. So they're not taking an objective point of view sometimes. But our family that we have that has not incarnated with us, I think it's nice to call upon them and say, help me through this. You even say, you may not remember, but you did warn me this was going to be difficult, because they're looking more as an observer than our soul family here.
Mindy says you can feel it in your soul, and we learn within the relationship.
Exactly, yeah.
And Linda says, Steve and Sally, you are my family.
Yes, that's how it goes.
Can you describe a little bit of, when we grow on a certain level, that certain people, they kind of fade away from our life?
Yeah.
And it's either
That's absolutely.
the agreement, the contract is over, or the
It
lesson
could
is
be the
over.
contract is over, or enough is enough too, because we do have free will. And if it's a member of the family, it's probably more noticeable. If a friend, maybe, that it doesn't matter. But when enough is enough, we have the right to say enough. This is goodbye. But it's all a journey, and it's where we are ourselves on that journey, even to realize that, actually.
How does someone recognize where they're at in their journey and when it's okay to say enough?
Well, it's a feeling that you get within yourself, because I know many situations that I've got myself into, or have befriended someone, or even a family member, that I have still gone beyond that point sometimes, and I wasn't aware of it. But when it's all about being aware of something. When you don't have to be rude. That person can just not be in your life anymore. You don't have to say, I never want to see you again, but you just drift apart sometimes. I mean, you can do it both ways, but it's nicer really to just they're not in your life anymore.
How do we give ourselves permission to do that?
Well, that's up to, I love these questions.
Yeah.
Once you're at that point, you can give yourself permission, because we don't realize, and we can go on and on in a relationship or in anything and go way beyond where we should be, actually, because it's taking us off our own path. And what's more important is us, the person that's going through that, because if you're going through it, you're not able to help people that may be going through it. But if you're aware of that, enough. I don't, whatever it is, people, place, thing, it doesn't matter. Enough is enough because I've got someone that needs my help because I know not a lot, let's say a little bit more than the person that's going through something too. So it's a feeling you get within yourself.
So why do we sometimes feel that immediate, unexplainable connection?
Because we've known each other. I should look in that camera.
Yeah.
I know that. I'm not getting the connection with my human sitting here. Okay, again, can you just, I lost it just then.
Why do we sometimes feel an immediate, almost unexplainable connection?
Because we know each other. We may not know it, but we do, because you knew my artwork, Dawn, as I came in. Dawn had said, I brought some pieces of art in, and she had seen it. Well, we felt that connect. It might have been the fact that you saw it so that we had an instant connection. Absolutely. That doesn't happen with everybody, but you can also be your soul family because that person will keep probably showing up in your life in different scenarios.
But not all soul family members might necessarily bring up good feelings.
No, because that could be karma left over from another lifetime, but you chose to be a family member so that you could actually maybe get rid of that and go through it. Yeah. So it's best to look at a whole situation. Again, I'm going to say enough sometimes is enough because you may have something else to work out and you may not be able to because you're so wrapped up in a situation that you can't get out of. So it's best to clear our minds, but other people will walk into our lives, other people fade from our lives. That's just how it works.
And then with regards to you and I, although we're a married couple, we met 3 different times before we gelled and understood that we were our soul family.
That's a good, yes, because that person will continue. It could be a matter of even, it could be 10 years. But that person, if we've had that agreement, we get another chance. In other words, if I had decided where we were before we came in here, another dimension, whatever we want to call it, that we were going to get married, when we first met wasn't the timing. However, we did meet again and then again.
That's true.
So I have a little step above because we talk about our soul and our soul connections, but then we have that one thing called the twin flame. And the twin flame is a whole different type of connection, which actually I had the honor of experiencing it in this lifetime, because we don't always. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, twin flame is someone that I believe, and there's different points of view on this, but I'm going to go with my gut and what I'm hearing, is someone that you've incarnated with many, many times. They can say it's your other half, but I believe that the two of you, if you have another half or a twin flame, you're going to be very, actually, it's not always it can be a bumpy road too, like your soulmate. It doesn't always mean that everything is,
Very
in fact,
bumpy,
you're
but
more
it's a
likely to
learning
have a
experience.
twin flame or a soul connection with someone that is difficult because you're working through things. And you can continue to incarnate, and the next time you meet, you work through some of that karma.
It was an amazing growth spur.
There we go, yeah.
It
yeah.
wasn't meant to be a romantic relationship. It was meant to be a growth relationship, which I realized after the fact.
Yeah, but you had the opportunity to meet that person at that time. I believe we have, it's the same as when we have exits to leave this world. We have several. We choose several different times that we want to exit. Yeah.
Exit points.
Yeah.
So to your point, Sally,
Thank you.
I believe that my husband is a soulmate. I recognized him instantaneously. I knew he's one of my kind, like that song, and he's one of my kind. So absolutely, I recognized him.
Right, and it works that way. And I believe we can have a few. I don't believe it's just one, for
Oh,
my
no,
belief.
obviously.
And
Yeah.
but we do have a real connection with somebody that is now going to be part of your life, like a husband or a wife. And then you join together, and then of course you have a family, which is, that's what happens.
Yeah, and to your point,
Not
you also,
always, but-
you said something. She asked the question about permission, and this conversation has been very enlightening to me. There's somebody who's close to me, and the relationship with that person can be very challenging at times. And they're going through a health thing. This is not my dad, full
Okay.
disclosure.
All right.
That person is also going through a series of medical things. And this conversation has allowed me to say, you know what? I don't have to be at odds. I can give them permission to say, if this is what you wish and you wish to be on the other side, I am giving you permission now.
Yeah,
to go
and
ahead
I
and do that.
actually believe that's very important, because I think that people, when they're passing, they know that they're passing up to an extent. I watched my daughter, you know, I was with her for a while before she passed. But it's like they hold on sometimes for us to. And I
That's this
think
person.
basically it's not easy to say, but say to that person, go, because they do hear us. Even if they're in a coma, they hear us.
Agree. I agree.
So I
Thank
think
you
it's
for that.
important. Yeah.
That's been a key that
Yeah.
set me free right there. There is
Right,
some liberation
because
right there.
they're holding on for us. Where they're
Correct.
going, we don't know until
Exactly.
we're there, but it's good. But
I
they
give you permission to leave.
yes,
I recently lost both parents, within a year of each other, and my dad would wake up every morning and say, "Oh my goodness, am I still here?" Because he
Yeah.
was ready to
Yeah,
leave,
yes.
but his body wasn't, but he was. And I kept telling him, "It's okay. You've done your job.
right.
You've done great by us.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
appreciate you. It's okay. Go ahead. We're going to be fine." And I had to do the same with my mom and say, "It's okay. I know she wants to stick around because, who's going to take care of my kids?" And it's like, okay, we'll take care of each other now.
Yeah, I believe very,
do your
very
job
much
and let
in
them
that
go
we
with
should do
peace.
that,
Yeah.
And you know what? The more everybody grieves, of course, if it's a loved one. But I often think to myself, and you can't tell someone not to grieve. Of course they do. However, when they go, they stay around us for longer because we're grieving. So I can't say go have. I've lost some very close people to me. I'm not going to have a party, but we need to honor them too, even in passing. That, okay, you wouldn't want me feeling this way. I feel, I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
Go ahead and start to live your life. You don't have to go out and have a great big party, but they do hang around us sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, I had to tell my dad, I said to him, make sure, I said, no pranks. Don't be throwing stuff around in my house. Because my dad is a prankster.
yeah.
Oh,
And he
that's
just
funny.
laughed at me. I said, because I'm going to know. And one day where I'm and I have one
Wow.
of those trashes that open on with a hand motion. But my daughter and I is standing far away from it. And something she says, granddad. And I said, and I mentioned my dad, and the thing just went boom. And both of us
Yeah.
jumped out of our skin. And I said, I told you no pranks.
They like to validate that they're around. In fact, when my father passed, and I didn't, I was psychic, but I really wasn't aware. Well, we're all psychic, and I always like to say that too. But my father had a very strong, fun personality too, and I was not that old. I was like in my I was 20-something, I don't remember. But when he passed, I said, I believe that I could contact him. I didn't know that I could do this for myself. So I ended up calling a top psychic who actually talked to the stars. He was going to be very booked, but I didn't care. So I called up and I said, my father had only been passed about 3 or 4 days. And she said, I'm so sorry, but we can't book you for another year. So I thought, at least I'm on their waiting list. So I said, okay. Well, guess what? Following morning, she calls up. She says, can you get here? We've got an opening. So I get there, and I had never really been to a psychic, and he proceeded to tell me a lot of things that have absolutely come true over the years, because I believe in this too. But he said to me, your father was very, very firm with me. I needed to see you now.
Wow.
And I said, oh my gosh, okay. And
Nice.
it was a nice experience.
Cool beans.
That's amazing, Sally.
Yeah.
All right, so sometimes a friendship can feel more home than a biological family.
A friendship can feel.
More like home.
Yes, absolutely, of course, because it is a familiar situation. Even if we don't remember that person, we're now reconnecting with a very familiar situation with someone that has known us maybe through many lifetimes. But I truly believe there will always be that opportunity. Even I'm in America, I was born in London, but I met most of my soul family, I think, over in this country. And having said that, even when I was in school, I always wanted to come to the States. I didn't know why, but I had this strong draw to come to America. And if there was an American girl in my school, I always, no matter if we were different ages, got friendly with them. So it's something within us.
So that's what I was going to ask you. Say you lived in New York or California. Would you still meet members of your soul family?
Absolutely. Look at my guide who was here, Aldo. He's from Peru. He was from Peru, and he knew about me because he came in remembering a lot. So when he finally met me, he did not introduce himself to me. He was at my place of work for a year till I was ready and had that experience that I had, which I won't go into again, but my whole world changed. But he was there, so he waited. It may never have happened. I might not have even met him in this lifetime.
I have found that people that I've lost contact with, that I was very friendly with and very close to over time, lost contact with them for many, many years, and then they come back into my life, and then it's like we never lost touch for 1 second, and that has to be part of what we're talking
Right.
about.
And on the flip side of that, sometimes we can be really friendly with someone, and someone said, they just disappear from your life. It's like you never even knew that person.
Exactly.
So it works
And there
both
too.
ways. It works both ways. Yes. 'Cause
No, we can keep going.
oh, you have a question?
I have a lot of.
Okay.
Let's see. Are certain people meant to come into our lives only for long enough to teach us a lesson?
I think so. I mean, Aldo was in my life for 20 years and told me a lot of lessons. A lot he taught me. However, he then said to me, because he knew his passing, he was able to do everything that we find strange, but I saw it in front of my eyes, and he knew that he was going to pass way before I did, and he said to me, be my mouthpiece. So, you know, he looked for me for me to carry on to do what I'm doing today. I'm 100% certain of that.
Do you think that was a complete lesson?
It wasn't complete because he also would want me to continue, but I was at that point that my teacher had taught me enough that I could go out on my own and understand a lot that I'm still learning that he taught me 3 years later. I'm still learning. It's like he's still telling me, because you've seen this happen. I'll say something, he'll show himself if it's not the next thing wording on the TV or my Facebook, which I'm not in that much, but always on the top of my news feeds. If I ask a question, there you've heard me read it out. There's the answer for
And
me.
time flies. It's been 5 years since you've lost Aldo.
Oh, fine. No, that's what I said. Because I'm in a place that I'm not sure.
Well, how do you know if your lesson, say you meet this girlfriend and you're friends with them for a year or two, right? There's probably a lesson in that.
I think even if you bump shoulders with someone, there's a lesson. Well, you may not know it, but that meeting wasn't a chance meeting.
If the lesson is just me,
Well, that's also a lesson, yes. But if you meet people,
Smiling with someone on the street.
yes, absolutely, anytime, anywhere. That if you say hello to someone, even if it's just a hello, might have been in another. My voice always goes on my show. Another hello in another lifetime. You don't remember, but there's still a meaningful meaning there.
Because sometimes what I realize, and I now do it on purpose because I know what the effect is. You're standing at a grocery store checkout, and you could see everyone is stressed out, everyone is tired, and the checkout person is also tired. But you give them a little compliment. Oh, I love your nails. Oh,
Yes.
How's your day? That one moment could change the whole
Exactly.
energy and their day
Because
for
it
them.
can change
So-
her day completely.
Yeah,
or
and I always say,
him, yeah.
you know what? It's okay. It doesn't take much effort
Right.
to be kind or to be nice, to say hi for no reason, because you
Absolutely.
don't know what that person is experiencing at that very moment.
And it's in a grocery store. I never really, with Aldo, we never really went shopping sometimes. But one of the reasons, and I think he did such a good job at this, but I would be embarrassed. He'd go up to everybody who's getting his food and he'd say, "Have a nice day," or these little things. And I thought, I'm not even going grocery shopping with him. But it was good. Yes, there are people that, yeah. I must admit, I'm not as good as that, but I'm aware of it.
All right. Why do some family patterns seem to repeat from generation to generation?
Because we haven't learned our lesson. You're going to have the same thing. It's a different maybe scenario, but it will eventually keep repeating itself. And we can skip a lifetime as far as I feel too. It may not come back in our next incarnation, but it will come back. I mean, we need to think sometimes when we do things like, if someone just walks away, I mean, we're still protecting ourselves first, and we have to do that in order to learn more. So it isn't always a bad thing to have this situation. We feel it bad. We feel it more sometimes with our family because it's harder, but it's still we still have to look after ourselves first. Absolutely.
Why is it possible to have people that you're very close to, that you're at total opposite ends of the spectrum on all your viewpoints, religion, politics, life in general, yet you consider them to be closer than some family, even though you're totally opposites?
Well, opposites attract. We hear that too, because you're both learning from each other. So if someone can have all the opposite points of view or whatever it is, and you're just completely opposite, that's actually think about a jigsaw puzzle. That's what they're showing me, and the pieces, and you're putting it into place. And then eventually you become whole with that person. Don't always have to have the same thought, you can have different points of view. We all, this is crazy.
Why don't we
That
take a
is-
break and then
always
you can
happens.
refresh your throat? We'll see you
Okay.
on the other side of the
I
Other
should
commercial.
side of the commercial.
A true story, Call Me Zena, is the telling of Sally Barnard. Born in London, England at the end of the Second World War, she came into the U.S. in 1979. A mother of 2 and a grandmother of 4, she settled in Florida and worked in real estate. While going through a difficult time in her life, she was admitted into a hospital overnight in December of 2005. While settling back into her life, she began having vivid dreams and documenting them. By the 3rd dream, a lady gave her a message to draw. With no artistic background or interest into art or history, Sally listened to her dreams and grabbed a paper and crayons. Today, she has over 150 pieces of inspiring art and poetry. This book follows her journey and interpretations of these messages. She describes in detail how she is able to astral a project and who she has met along her travels, including her spirit guides. This book will show you how anything is possible with an open mind. These events have changed Sally's life and direction, and this book will show you how to change yours. Purchase Call Me Zena on Amazon today, authorhouse.com and amazon.com.
Thank you for joining me through this journey of self-discovery with the help of my spirit guides. I'm Sally Barnard, and you can find my book at authorhouse and amazon.com, or visit my art on my clothing in my boutique at artbysallybernard.com. Now back to the show. Hi, I'm back. I'm back.
I wanted to piggyback on what he just asked about having completely not agreeing on the same thing, but I would say that's a lesson in not being judgmental.
Perfect.
Because if you're
Absolutely.
not judging someone, it doesn't matter what their opinion is.
Exactly,
Because
because
you like
you're
the person,
now
the essence.
observing that
Correct.
situation, which we talked about earlier. I can remember that. Because if you can detach from that and see someone else's point of view as well as your own, you're in a good place because you're not judging anybody. So yes, it's a good thing. It can be a good thing. Even in a bad situation, it can be a good thing. It's up to us to do that.
Can I add something to that?
Sure.
No? So to piggyback on what you're saying now, to borrow your term, a couple days ago we were driving, and that had just happened after my dad had to go into the emergency room, and I had gotten the text from my brothers, we'll get him there as quick as we can, and to my surprise, the text came in, we're at the hospital, and I was like, wow, that was pretty quick. And in my mind, I thought to myself, I wonder how fast these people were driving to get him there. And then 2 days later, we're in traffic. I'm driving with my husband, and some guy just drove just like a complete maniac and just drove fast. And my husband was gonna complain, which I sometimes do. I have some road rage, and I'm trying to put it in balance. But I said to him, I said, you know something? Thinking about my dad and how fast they must have driven him. What if that person is also riding off to the emergency room? What if we don't know what's going on? And I said that to my husband. I said, I'm really trying to be better
Right.
and put myself in that other person's shoes. So it's really,
It's good. That's observing a situation from all different aspects of it.
Yeah.
And that's real. That's also what my guide Aldo taught me. He said, learn to observe.
Yeah.
And you get the
And
answer.
not judge and not make any assumptions.
And have
Absolutely.
gratitude
And
for what we have, because
gratitude and-
gratitude is really
and
important.
appreciation. Have you ever been driving and you see the motorcycles pull right up?
Yeah.
And, and most people are like, oh, motorcycles. but I can put myself there and be like, he's probably having a good damn time.
Yeah.
Zooming down the
Well,
road.
I do something which I told you the other day. If if you
Absolutely.
cut somebody off once in a while, it can happen by
Right.
mistake, and someone honks you, I always wave.
Yeah.
So they
Like,
think
"Sorry."
to themselves, oh, they must know me, so they stop. I haven't done that for a long time, but
I really think being judgmental is one of the biggest flaws we as humans have.
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. Steve.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I
it's the
agree.
most difficult lesson for anyone to learn,
Yeah,
because
and it is a
we're
lesson.
so
It's-
caught up with our own belief. And
That's
this
right.
goes back to perspective again, and being, my idea and your idea is not the same, but that doesn't mean anything is right or wrong. It's
Absolutely.
different, but only if we judge it, or we have attachment to it. So judgment and non-attachment, non-judgment and non-attachment is
Perfect.
part of being able to live in this world and not
Thank
Be
you.
in the world.
be in, right, to be in the world but not be of it, like not
Thank
get,
you. Freddie, you have a
affected by it.
question.
No, just a comment. I think that the object of the game is not to play, not to lose. It's more to play to win.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people sometimes feel guilty that they're trying too hard to win. There's nothing wrong with that. Not if you end up playing not to lose, you're gonna end up not learning what you need to learn. So ask for the ball and just keep pushing.
Yeah, because this life is a big game. We just change characters each time we come in. And we actually go, there's balance is what's important. Dark side, light side, it's a game. And
Right.
I believe we play every part, actually,
I-
of our choice.
I think we need to be more playful, like really.
Well,
let's
yeah,
just
I
have
love,
fun.
actually, I love humor.
Just
I
have
mean,
fun.
it's hard on the show to make a whole, well, it's a good thing, really. I think humor is extremely important, yes.
So when people pass away, are they still part of the soul family?
Yes,
Yes.
that's a good
Forever.
question, because that people are probably thinking that. Absolutely. And we add to our soul family, which I think I was saying. So, yes, we're all one big happy family, actually, but we don't always see it that way.
And so, my experience, obviously, it's my own parents passing now, but I had a serious talk with my dad, and I said, I need you to do 2 favors for me. I said, one, once you cross over, can you please keep an eye on my kids? He goes, don't worry, I got you. I said, and second, when it's my turn, can you come and get me? And he says, I'll be there.
I love that you said that, because Aldo, who you're not sure who he is, but he was my guide here. One of my last, other him telling me to be his mouthpiece, he said, I will be there when you cross over. That was one of the last things he said to me. Yes. Yeah,
Comforting.
yeah,
It
it's
is very
comforting.
comforting.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we made a pact, so I know he'll be there.
Sally, if we believe our souls travel together through multiple lifetimes, will our roles change? And could a parent in this life be a child or a friend or a partner in another?
Yeah, 100%. I believe that, yes, because we play, even in our own family together, we play different roles. You're a man, you're a woman, you're a child, you're a parent. That's how we're learning, because if we keep coming back with our own parents, then they'll be our parents, but in a different form of man, woman, whatever, or child. We learn more with that person. We're learning together. We're all on this road learning. So we would have to change our characters, so to speak, to be able to learn more. Otherwise, we can go through the same scenario again with that person, and we're not really achieving anything by it. We're just doing the same thing over and over again, which we know that can lead to insanity.
We were
Not
just
literally, but
we were just talking about, we, like you asked, did we choose our parents? So we do choose our parents because they
Yes,
have
we
the
do.
lessons we're supposed to learn, and your soul chooses that before we come on. But what I also learned was our own children that chose us is part of the journey that we did not fix with our parents.
yes,
It's kind of a
it can
repeat,
go back.
right?
It goes back generations too, but we're not aware of it. If we remember our lifetimes, yes, but we're still going to have that. So that's why family, actually, we learn a lot from. Soul family, we've chosen, we think here, but we really haven't. If they're our soul family wherever we are.
Yeah.
Do they meet up, like if it were hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, and if they move on, do they come back? Is the soul family intact? Like you're always telling Dawn, we were. How
Yeah.
do you know?
Because you do. You just know, Freddie, because especially in a relationship like a partnership here together, you may very well been doing this in the last lifetime. You'll come back with the same people. But I hate to say this, the door might be a male and you could be a female. Just saying, I'm just saying. I said I like humor. We added a little humor, but I do believe that, okay?
You know,
Very
this
little
kind.
humor.
Well, if you look at it,
Just
not-
say,
I
it's
think,
okay.
I think if we look at it not as man or woman, but just energy, the
Yes,
essence,
of course, but
the
I
essence of
I felt
your
like putting
connection,
a little
right?
humor there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that, Steve?
You know, this conversation today makes me remember a topic I've brought up a few times on the show, and that's the animated movie Academy Award winner Soul, where you get to choose your spot to come back in and what you want to do and who you want to be with. And if you haven't seen it, it's truly amazing with regards to what we're talking about today.
Yeah, and I like the fact that it's a cartoon because children can listen to that
Yeah.
too, and
Exactly.
they're seeing something, that okay, even if they don't understand it, it's putting the seed there that we have chosen. We've chosen everybody actually, as they have chosen us.
And the new generation of kids coming in are a lot more aware than we are. So
100,
they, like stuff like
is
that
what
will
you're saying.
actually make sense to them
Yeah.
already.
Yeah,
Yep.
but and the good thing is that the generation before them are also they were opening up. So when your child suddenly says, I see somebody or my imaginary friend, the parent is not going to say, oh, go, forget it, don't be silly.
Yeah.
They may stop and listen today. So we're getting
Absolutely.
somewhere with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've met kids and talking to the parents and the child talks, and I said, oh my goodness, you have an old soul. I said, and you need to treat this child very different.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
old souls have to be treated in a certain way, and
That's my son.
You
And
know.
the good thing is it's becoming much more acceptable of our thinking this way because you can, also this cartoon that Steve's talking about, you see a lot today. And also, we talk a lot about aliens on the show too, but they are opening up to this because this is also a part of humanity that is happening right now.
Yeah.
So the more that it's out in the open, any particular subject that we feel that is going to be beneficial, it's good to bring it out in the open. Today, many more people, very few, and I know I've said this when I say, do you believe in reincarnation? Because I don't want to offend someone who may say no. Most people today say yes, or I'm going that way, I'm thinking about that. Even 10, 15 years ago, they were not doing that. They'd say, no, I don't want to hear any of that, but not today.
Sally, why would some people choose to come back into an abusive relationship?
That's a really good question, and it's very good question because we do. That's how we learn. We learn more. Sometimes if everything was going the way we wanted it and everything we could do, we wished for, and it happened, you have to get to that point. You've got to go through a lot before you get to that point. Can we do that? Absolutely, we can eventually. But you've got to. We're here to experience. And that's good and bad to experience because you wouldn't know. I use the scenario, if something is all white, you don't know what black is. If something's all black and you see white, you then see the color. It's the same thing. You have to, I say you have to, we all have a choice and free will, but we all seem to be doing that because the world right now is a little crazy and chaotic.
So
Well,
how do
I-
we know if we've learned the lesson that we were meant to learn?
That's a good question too, because eventually, people say, I've had enough of this situation, or let's correct this situation, or walk away from it. If you walk away from it, it's still turmoil. It's not, you still need to get somewhere in that to stop bringing that karma in. But we stop when we're ready to stop. And it's sorted itself out. Sometimes we may not even like the way it sorted itself out, but it was the way it was meant to be. And we won't bring in that karma again. Having said that, in each dimension, we still have this. We still come back with different things that we don't even know about right now because we're in this dimension. But we still will have similar things problems to solve. Because as long as you incarnate, I truly believe this on any planet, and I believe there are many, that you still are learning. You're just learning on a planet that might be more beneficial for you to learn a lesson that you might have had on this planet. So
I
it
also-
goes
I
on
also
and
hear
on.
them,
believe
you'll
on-
hear them say, this is the story of my life. It's always the black cloud. It's always, can they learn from that, change that?
Yeah, absolutely. Eventually, when you begin to what we call wake up, I think you then begin to see things in a different way. Again, no abuse. You don't have to take any of that. but you can look at things slightly. Then you know you're really learning. If you can look at situations that maybe 10 years ago you would have reacted differently, that it's the same scenario, but you're reacting differently now, eventually you can see that whatever it is, it'll just leave your life at that point. So you've learned that lesson.
There are many why me people in this world, and there needs to be more why not me people in this world.
That's good.
But even going back to what Dawn just asked, I also believe that some of that is part of we have to experience it to help the next person.
Yeah.
Because you cannot help without the knowledge. Once you experience it and then you go, I get you. I can help you. I went through that. And sometimes it's learning so we can help others heal.
Absolutely.
It's part of the journey.
I agree
of-
with that, because I think even when we come in, many spirit souls do not come in. They don't incarnate. They can help us, but it's not the same. And I got a message from my guide one time when I first started, when I was astral projecting. He said to me, I'm giving you my assistant, which I knew very little about this, but Aldo was explaining to me afterwards, because I was there, I felt myself there. My assistant had a similar life to you, and she's going to help you. And I remember saying to my guide, Aldo, who was here in person, I said to him, he's very male chauvinistic, because he said, I have many men I'm helping, not women. That's what he actually said, but I believe that now. She was able to help me through situations at that point, because she'd had a similar lifetime than mine. It didn't mean that that particular guide, who I think is, he's here, I feel him. He was still here, but he was kind of overriding the situation, letting her do it, because he was observing my situation. She had more experience. So it's not just from here, it's from the other side too. We're still learning.
Absolutely.
Right.
I'd like to add something to this. We're tapping in on something, and the image just came to my mind. On several different sessions that I've had, in the session, in the healing, I had one healing where somebody said, you're helping this person, and you're here with a bad back, let me help you. So I actually saw them go behind me and start working on me while I was working on this person. Now, at another time, talking about the generational curses or, generational issues, I've actually had several times where I saw, right now they're showing up, 8 different grandmas, just generation. And when I picked out this, I got goosebumps. This one particular person, she had some type of an abuse that was tied in her body. And I saw myself cutting away and cutting the cords. And as I did that, the person who was working with me came up and said, look at the thread. I got goosebumps. And
Yeah.
the thread just was untying from each
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
So whatever thing that we cleared there,
You
we cleared it
from-
across 8
Yeah.
different generations.
And that's so true, Wendy, because people are, the ones coming in now, the younger generation, actually can change all that because they're aware
Yes.
of that. So let's use drinking, alcohol, anything.
Yes.
You break that cycle, and it only takes one person to do that, because eventually then you go
a
on-
domino effect.
Yeah, it's a domino effect. That is very important for people to see and understand that,
Yeah.
because you do hear today, I broke that cycle. And they're doing that. They
Absolutely.
come in to break the cycle. They still may have it, but they get rid of it and they've broken it.
They've come
That's-
back and told me now I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
I'm not chased by the dreams
Totally,
anymore.
totally.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense.
It
I mean,
does.
even if you don't believe this, it still makes sense in a way, doesn't it?
It does.
Absolutely.
It does. It's an unraveling. I love it.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Freddie, you have a question? No.
No?
Okay.
Go on.
If every important person in our life is here to teach us something, what should we be asking ourselves about the people who challenge us the most?
It's still a hard lesson to learn, so we're being challenged by it. But you know what? We're halfway there when we realize that, Dawn. When you see the same scenario that you may have gone through maybe 20 years ago, and then 20 years on, you're 20 years older, and you're 20 years maybe a little wiser, it doesn't mean that that scenario, if we have not said it 20 years back and we solved it, it's going to show up again. We may not even clear it that next time, but it will keep showing up. And it may not just be in this lifetime, because it will carry through.
Question is it a challenge or are we resisting it?
Well, it's
What if you're resisting the lesson?
well, then it's better to accept it and understand it and get it out of the way, right?
Yeah.
But we are going to go through it. I have no doubt in my
But
mind.
doesn't even resisting the challenge mean that there's some train of thought as to why, if you don't want to accept something because you don't, it doesn't make you wrong.
No.
No, it's
No,
just an opportunity.
It's an opportunity. That's just what I was going to say. It's an opportunity to see it from both sides of the coin, so to speak. Because, you know, the person that you're having a consultation with believes they're right. The person that's receiving that believes they're
But
right.
is it about being right, or is it about being right for you?
No, it's being right for you. We look at it because we're in anger or whatever, that I am right. So you're never going to solve that because the other person is saying I am right. No, that's never going to work.
That's an impasse.
That's right. So we observe it more, look at both sides of the scenario here, and then make your own judgment on how you want to move forward with that. But you've got to have the facts. It's with anything, you've got to have the facts. Because a part of what they're saying or part of what the person is saying, I won't say me and whoever, it doesn't matter, we still believe we're right. But no, because why are we having these arguments? Why am I having that same problem with someone else 10 years later?
Absolutely.
We're teaching ourselves. We need to teach ourselves.
And it's a wonderful moment when you have that moment where you've solved yourself and you can move forward and just do the right thing all the time and live your life wonderfully. Which,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
unfortunately for me, didn't happen until I was 60, 16 years ago, but I'm very
On that
happy to be
particular
where I am
group,
today.
yeah.
Better late than never, as they
And
say.
it's an opportunity sometimes when you feel that you've hit your rock bottom with something. Actually, I don't advise that people have to sink that low, but it is an opportunity because you have nothing to do, just call out what is going on, help me. And it doesn't matter, God, religion, it doesn't really matter. The fact that you're believing that there is something else gives you that opportunity now to solve what you're going through. And that's really, really important.
Absolutely.
It's an opportunity sometimes when you reach rock bottom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We talk all the time about Elizabeth.
Yeah,
She was part of our soul family.
absolutely.
Or is part.
Yes.
Yes.
Does she have a message on all of this that we're talking about?
She always gives me the same message in front of everybody for you, Dawn. Don't take on more than you can handle, okay? Let other people solve some of that situation. One day you'll wake up and say, oh my God, thank you to her, okay? Try to dedicate tasks, that's correct, that's what I'm hearing, to other people because they can also do what you're doing. I mean, it's not that you're in an ego, like, oh, I can only do this, but understand that they can sometimes do this.
Okay, so
Does that help you?
this is perfect segue for what you said earlier about manifesting and now sitting here going, what do I do with it? And
Exactly.
she just gave you the answer.
Yes, she
Yeah.
did.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Which
and
I
that
did.
Full circle.
Thank my guides. Okay, yeah. That
Full
was
circle.
Elizabeth.
was
Of
Elizabeth.
course, if anyone's going to give you that, it's going to be her. That's Dawn's
Absolutely.
guide, but I know her too. And we knew her from another lifetime. And she's so happy that we're talking about her.
Yeah.
Which
She
is
loves the
incredible.
recognition.
Now,
No,
she's from another lifetime. So, say my dad or your daughter, do they come up in when you ask questions?
Yeah, and I get the signs that they hear too, especially, well, I would say my daughter because I'll see her initials or I'll feel something. But Aldo, he actually gives me long sentences because I will turn on, especially you've seen me read on Facebook. It's not like I'm even scrolling, it's the first thing on my news feed. Exactly what I just
Exactly.
asked.
The other day we were talking about, Sally being an empath and all the things she feels, with me and my situation. And then the first thing she did was open her phone after asking Aldo for a message was a whole,
And it was a long thing on
Long thing.
empaths.
Oh, that's
That
so
just happened a couple
funny.
of days ago. I said, see, here, look, that's what I'm going through.
And that's Aldo speaking
Yeah,
because he's going to speak
absolutely.
in long-winded
Yeah,
sentences.
yeah.
That's
And
so
it
wild.
It makes
I love
sense
it.
to me because he could do so much in this lifetime. He remembered a lot of his lifetime. So
Absolutely.
at the beginning of our relationship, I might have had a shred of doubt at some of the things that I was learning from Sally. But as we've moved on through the years, it's just so evident that everything is the way it is.
Absolutely.
It's so interesting. I was talking to Anne Marie Wendy.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I would think everyone in the spiritual realm is an empath. And she says to me, I feel so sorry for the empaths.
Yeah.
She said, because she is not.
She removes herself completely.
She said she is not an empath. So when people are empaths, she goes, I feel sorry for those that take on everything.
And I actually wanted to send it to you, and you know what? I couldn't find it again on my Facebook feeds. I wanted to send it. It's so about an empath and being empathic and all the things that it can do to you. It's like you're making it up. I can't take the vibration. I can't take the loud
It's exhausting,
noise.
actually.
I cannot.
be, yeah.
And but the thing is, accept it. That's who we are. It's going to happen no matter what. So either you stay away from a situation when there's loud noise, but we can't always. It could be an airport. Or you just have to accept it, which is very, very difficult. That's one of my lessons I have to learn, because I pick up a lot of vibrational energy from other people.
But I think we can manage it as well. Once
it's-
you're aware,
Once
you
you're
will-
aware of
you
it, it's
know,
still not easy,
and
but you
could-
can do
yes,
it. Yeah.
You can create your space.
That's
Absolutely.
right.
But I have that, like after that, I might have to take a day and just be in my bed all day.
Because
be
you're
away from
drained. You're
people.
drained
I
from
feel
other,
it.
from other people's
Right,
energy.
but I learned to
Yeah.
take care of myself now.
Yeah,
You're right. I
absolutely.
learned
It's
to back off.
difficult for me knowing the things I'm causing Sally because she's an
you can't
empath
help
and
it,
dealing
it's-
with what I'm going through. I've begged her, can't you find your off switch?
Yeah. Yeah.
But but this is
It's
a
a
lesson
learning
that I
curve.
have to realize that this is. But there are some times that you really it's hard. If you're an empath, you know what I'm talking about. It's
Yeah.
very, very difficult.
I like what Steve said. When he finally realized whatever he had to realize at 60, you were able to move on with your life. Was it a switch that you said, I'm going to take my life back? What changed?
What changed was, Sally mentioned the word rock bottom a little while ago, and I don't really think we all need to hit a rock bottom, but I happen to have hit my rock bottom. Now, my rock bottom wasn't as low as some rock bottoms I've heard about, but it was, for me, the moment where I said, enough is enough. And I moved forward in life and became a better person. I felt it was never too late to become a better man.
Right. And anybody that may be listening that is going through something like this, it's so good to be able to see that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Absolutely.
There's
You
a
may not
community
feel
to
like
welcome
it,
them.
or you say, why me and why does this always happen? But that, unfortunately, the more you say that, the more you're sinking down into what you don't want to have happen. It happens. So just accept. Well, you can't always accept, but just be aware of what's going on. Eventually, acceptance does come, but not at that
Exactly.
particular stage. It's a journey, just like everything else.
This has been a wonderful forum so far, and before it gets away from us, I'd like to remind people you can get Sally's book, Call Me Zena, by going to Amazon or Author House, or scan the QR code on the screen. It's a wonderful book. It'll tell you Sally's journey.
And soon we're going to have the next edition because we're going to be putting that together
Yes, we
also.
are. We just decided to do that. Absolutely. Well, definitely. There's pages and pages and pages, right?
So let's ask this. When we eventually transition from this physical world, we meet our soul family, do we understand the lessons that we were meant to learn?
Yeah, hopefully, because if we don't, we're going to come back and do the same thing again. But really, at that point, we should be very aware that this is what happened, because we do have a life review. Maybe you can stop that part as you're going through it. Say, I need to listen a little bit more so I don't repeat that. Yeah.
You know, I
absolutely.
like to tell it this way. You know, when the soldiers come back, they have to debrief them, make sure they're okay, and they go
Right.
through all what went right, what went wrong. I believe when we cross over, that's what we're doing. We're being debriefed. We're going to look back and say,
That's
what
perfect.
happened,
That-
what's good, what's bad, what do I need to fix, and then prepare for the
Wonderful
next.
way to end the
right?
show. That's perfect. Yes. So
Yeah,
be careful
absolutely.
also what you wish for too, because
Oh,
we
my
can.
Lord,
We've got a
yes.
few seconds to talk about manifestation, because you can manifest. If you believe you can, you can. If you believe you can't, you will not manifest. Well, you
1000.
might, but it won't have the same effect.
Yes, you have to be very specific in what you ask
You
for.
do.
Yes,
Oh, okay. Elizabeth is
Yes,
still here for
ma'am.
you, Dawn. You have to, and then you pay the consequences, so to speak, of what you've asked for, because it's not always right. Timing is very important. So you might figure that you're getting more problems out of what you asked for, but they're okay because.
But
we
I
need
guess
that.
the timing is the way it's supposed to be. If it actually comes whatever you're asking for, when it comes, it's the right timing.
Right.
You just don't realize it.
You don't realize it because but believing and being aware of that, and even if you feel it's not your right time, I say to people, well, make it your own timing because you've got the opportunity to do that now because it's happening. That opportunity can pass and you still have the same problem and it will come back maybe in
We're
another
creators.
lifetime.
Why wouldn't we?
That's right. Absolutely.
All right,
So,
shall we
yeah.
say our adios?
Adios, amigo.
You can get Sally's book at Author House, or you can get Sally's book at Amazon.com. Scan the QR code. That's the book. Scan the QR code. Somewhere they're going to pop
No,
that
I
up.
don't think this code is there.
You
but
can
they
go
still
to
go.
Call Me Zena.
Yeah.
It's on the screen behind you.
It is
On the screen
okay.
behind Wendy. There you go. There it is.
okay, there
Scan
you
the
go.
QR
Thank
code
you.
right there. Thank you,
Yeah,
Gabe, for
okay.
putting that up there. We'll
And
see.
if you don't feel like buying a hardback, well, it's a paper cover, you can get the ebook and you can ask me questions. You just pull it up online and there we are. So I'm here to ask questions about my book. I'm in person on the show here to answer them.
All
Thank
right.
you.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Thank you. Thank you guys and thank the studio.
Thank you.
You have been watching Call Me Zena with your host, Sally Barnard. As an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer, know that you can always seek me out for resources by visiting artbysallybarnard.com. Join us next week, Mondays at 2:30. Have a blessed day.